April has been a very busy month for the Elder Scrolls Online. Between the launch of seasonal content with Season 0, the arrival of Update 50 on the public test server, new system testing, PvP changes, story content previews, and the setup for the night market, there has been a lot happening across both the live game and the PTS. Update 50 is now live on the PTS as of April 20th, bringing challenge difficulty, PvP veterancy, the full-time Vengeance campaign, dynamic encounters, and a wider list of player experience improvements into focus. At the same time, Season 0 is already underway. Yes, ESO has seasons now. The night market is approaching, and Zoss has also outlined this week's schedule with maintenance, additional Vengeance testing, a battleground spotlight, and a new Golden Pursuit tied to the market. In this video, I'm covering what all of this actually is in case you missed the recent reveals, what is already live, what is currently being tested, and what players should know as they try to keep up with ESO this month. There is a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Zoss is presenting Update 50 as an update build around player flexibility and agency. In practice, it functions as a bridge patch, moving Season 0 forward, adding quality of life improvements to the base game, and opening testing for content that is intended to continue into Season 1. One of the biggest additions on the PTS right now is challenge difficulty. This is an opt-in Overland difficulty system selected from the character sheet, and it applies to Overland encounters, story instances, delves, and public dungeons. It does not apply to dungeons, trials, arenas, Infinite Archive, or the night market. The 4 settings are Adventurer, Seasoned, Master, and Vestige. Bear with me, we are about to mention a lot of numbers. Adventurer is the current live baseline. Seasoned means you take 100% more damage from monsters and deal 20% less damage. Master raises that to 300% more damage taken and 50% less damage dealt. And Vestige goes all the way to 600% more damage taken and 80% less damage dealt. In exchange, players received increased gold and experience from monsters, with Seasoned granting 50% more gold and 20% more experience, Master granting 100% more gold and 75% more experience, and Vestige granting 200% more gold and 100% more experience. Zoss says challenge difficulty is part of Season 0 and is arriving in June 2026. The studio has also clarified that this system will not split players into separate zone instances by difficulty, both because ESO is meant to remain a shared MMO space and because separate zone instances would be too costly technically. Though in high-traffic areas, players may still see a greater mix of lower and higher difficulty players. In the Week 1 PTS summary, Zoss says that it is already tracking a Vestige bug involving unusually high light damage attack, along with unusual interactions between challenge difficulty and some set items. Expect some patches and bug fixes coming in the following weeks. On the PvP side, Update 50 introduces PvP Veterancy, a seasonal progression track for Cyrodiil, Imperial City, and Battlegrounds. Players progress mainly through Alliance points, and to a lesser amount XP, and the reward structure includes cosmetics, titles, consumables, perks for Vengeance, and more. Zoss says the system has 100 ranks, is accessed through the campaign selection and scoring UI, and includes both rewards that are granted automatically, such as some Vengeance perks, and rewards that must be claimed manually, such as items. The studio also says Veterancy has an average duration of 6 months, or 6 30-day Cyrodiil campaign durations depending on patch timing, and that players earn a repeatable reward at max rank. That arrives alongside a larger Cyrodiil change, because Vengeance is moving into a full-time selectable campaign. It includes modified abilities, loadouts, unique perks, and a population cap 3 times larger than a normal Cyrodiil campaign. Vengeance will run as a 30-day campaign, and that perks earned through the Veterancy system can be applied to your loadouts while in Vengeance. Grey Host remains available, while Ravenwatch, Icereach, and Blackreach are slated to close when Update 50 goes live unless population pressures force adjustments. In the Week 1 PTS summary, Zoss says it has heard feedback and concerns about Cyrodiil queues on live servers with only Grey Host and Vengeance open, and that they will be paying close attention to queue times and population flow when Update 50 launches and adjust as necessary. Another major system in testing is Class Mastery. This is designed for characters who have reached level 50 in all 3 of their native class skill lines and are not actively subclassing. Each class gets its own mastery skill line with passive effects. In the current implementation, players receive 2 class mastery points immediately, and each class has 5 passives available, with each passive costing 1 point. If a player subclasses by swapping in non-native class skill lines, the system automatically refunds and hides those class mastery purchases until the character returns to a fully native setup. The devs have already said that they are reviewing feedback about class balance, including concerns that some classes may be falling behind others, and that some passives are landing more strongly for DPS than for tank or support roles. Moving on, Tamriel Tomes is also being expanded in this update. For those who may have missed it, Tamriel Tomes is ESO's new seasonal reward system. Each season gets its own tome, with a free track and paid options, and players complete challenges to earn tome points, unlock pages, and claim rewards from those pages. During Season 0, the first tome is the Tome of Dawn and Dusk. On PTS, players can swap between multiple owned premium tomes, unlock multiple tomes through challenges, and spend tome points on unlocked rewards across any owned tome. Try saying that 5 times fast. Zoss says players will also be able to carry up to 2,000 tome points into a future tome after the end of season auto-claimer finishes, with any excess beyond that cap converted into gold. Reaching the bonus pages increases weekly challenge repeatability for the rest of that season, and weekly challenge rerolls can also be purchased with gold in addition to the 5 free weekly rerolls, starting at 500 gold and increasing to 10,000 before resetting the following Tuesday. That said, Zoss has already noted that not every part of this system was testable immediately, with the end of season test flow, tome swapping, and gold-based weekly challenge rerolls scheduled for PTS Week 3 beginning April 30th. The Werewolf refresh is one of the more visible parts of Update 50. The Werewolf update is arriving in June 2026, and the PTS notes describe new male and female models that are about 20% larger than the previous versions. New Ashen, Black, and White transformation skill styles earned through dynamic encounters, and replacement of Piercing Howl with Gnash, a new slaughter mechanic, and a new Prowl state that reduces the monster aggression radius by 66% and helps detect hidden enemies. Zoss also says it should now be easier to maintain Werewolf transformation, and the Season 0 page frames these updates alongside the redesigned Dragon Knight class and 2-handed skill line, which continue receiving improved animations, VFX, sound, and ability changes first introduced with the Update 49 refresh. In the Week 1 summary, Zoss confirmed it is already fixing several Werewolf issues identified during testing, including missing female model audio, passive bugs, missing icons for skill styles, and feet not planting correctly on some terrain. It just works. The studio also said that it is reviewing broader feedback on the new Werewolf visuals, but at this point does not plan to make any major art or animation changes during this PTS cycle. There is also a fair amount of story content tied into this cycle. Zoss has been clear that the PTS is being used to test content coming later in Season 1, but not necessarily content that is all arriving at once. The new Thieves Guild questline went live during Week 1 of the PTS cycle on April 14th and is set in Glenumbra, where players join Quinn in helping a newly forming branch of the Thieves Guild in Daggerfall survive its rivalry with the Coldane Cartel. This overhaul includes 8 new story quests, new Finder quests, access to all Heist and Thieves Guild daily quests from the Thieves' Den and Daggerfall, a new consumable item called Somnol Powder, a new mythic item earnable through the Thieves Guild, and updates to the Glenumbra zone including new areas to steal from and explore. A second questline, Sheogorath Takes a Holiday, went live during Week 2 of the PTS cycle on April 21st, and includes 6 new story quests across new and returning locations in Tamriel, along with new rewards including a pet and an emote. The new favor system is also a part of this broader testing cycle. The free runners have set up posting boards throughout each alliance, and these daily quests are specific to characters in their respective alliance. Each character can complete its favorite quest once per day, and finishing one rewards both items and a letter from that character that continues an ongoing story told across 20 quests per character. Zoss has also clarified that these are character-specific rather than account-wide, so they can be completed on multiple characters if desired. And the quests themselves are meant to send players across the world for a variety of activities, including things like defeating delve bosses, fishing, crafting, feeding stray kittens, and stopping assassins. If there happens to be an obscure quest for the character you have already completed, congrats! You get a reward and a day off. Dynamic encounters are also in motion, though the PTS notes specifically label them as Season 1 content. Zoss describes them as a new format of in-game events for Overland zones, multi-step encounters with visible objectives for participating players, each with different activities required to succeed. The examples currently listed on PTS are Vampire Hunt in Glenumbra, Farm Aflame in Auridon, and Bilsa's Delivery in Stonefalls. The devs say these encounters reward style pages, new skill styles, and more, and that they spawn every 30 minutes. Some of the Werewolf refresh cosmetics are tied directly to this format. For example, those new Ashen Black and White Werewolf transformation skill styles we talked about a little bit ago are earned through dynamic encounters. Meanwhile, Season 0 continues on. The Night Market event zone is running from April 29th to June 17, 2026. It is described as ESO's first ever event zone, a challenging group-focused PvE world where players pledge to one of 3 factions and encounter new characters, quests, and rewards. The Season 0 notes also describe the Gold Coast Bazaar as a new type of in-game store tied to trade bars, a new currency earned through gameplay, sort of functioning as a replacement for event tickets. For general quality of life, Update 50 includes Guild Mail, new Mages Guild transmute stations and major crafting hubs, Path to Adventure for new and returning players, the ability to deconstruct or sell exemplary items, an increase to the daily quest cap from 50 to 100, doubled companion combat XP at every rapport level, Vampire and Werewolf quest improvements, a longer AFK timer and character creation, and motif sourcing information in the Crown Store where possible. Guild Mail is initially limited to guild leaders, though leaders can grant permission to other ranks, and it allows mail to be sent to all ranks, several ranks, or a single rank. Those messages expire after 14 days, and each guild can have 5 active guild mails at once. Zoss also says the new transmute stations are being added to Eldenroot, Stormhaven, Mournhold, Leyawiin, Hrothgar, Skingrad, Vivec City, Necrom, Alinor, Rimmen, Gonfalon Bay, and Ivea. Path to Adventure is also part of the player experience push. Zoss describes it as a new personal Golden Pursuit campaign for new players and for returning players who have not earned the level 20 account-wide achievement. For new players, it appears after completing the Soul Shriven and Cold Harbor tutorial, while returning players are offered a short mini-quest meant to help them rediscover combat basics. The devs say the campaign guides players through early milestones like getting a mount, gathering sky shards, upgrading bag space, exploring zones, and taking on quests, and that it also includes a new hint feature to point players toward the next task. There are a few smaller details worth noting too. Update 50 currently plans 58 achievements worth 1,050 achievement points, along with 4 new titles and 7 new dies. Zoss also says PC and Mac players can use this PTS cycle to test incoming systems early and submit feedback through the in-game feedback and bug tools. The studio says it has already made a number of polished fixes to Guild Mail based on early feedback and bug reports. So that is where ESO stands this month. April has brought a combination of live seasonal content, major PTS testing, system changes, PvP updates, event build-up, and a busy short-term schedule. Some of it is already live in-game, some of it is still being adjusted on the public test server, and some of it is clearly being positioned for the next stretch of Season 0 and beyond. As always with the PTS, everything players are seeing remains subject to change, and not every part of the reveal should be treated as final. What part of this month stands out the most to you? Are you planning to spend more time on the live side with Season 0, or are you more interested in the PTS? Let me know in the comments what you are watching most closely this month in ESO. If you want more Elder Scrolls Online coverage like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you do not miss out on the next ESO video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in Cyrodiil, fellow adventurers.